Hi, my name is Mark, and I'm going to demonstrate something I learned when I made my first internal stitch down boot as taught by Jason Hovatter of laughingcrow.com. Jason teaches an in-person course in Portland, but he has also produced a DVD, which is what I purchased. And for me, making these boots by hand was important, and when I got to the full leather sole section right here, I learned that there were two tools he used that I don't have the money or space for, one being the belt sander and one being a bandsaw. And the reason that those two items were discussed using this piece of full sole leather is because these are, this was purchased from Panhandle Leather. They are $10 a set. Shipping is $10. It's 11 to 12 iron full sole leather. It doesn't afford great opportunity or a lot of material to hold on if you're going to try and use a lip knife from the top and work your way around to cut the outline once you've drawn it onto this surface here from the tracing that you've made of your foot. And what I learned was by using this lip knife, C.S. Osborne and Company, it's a left-handed lip knife, they make left and right-handed, was that if I use what I consider to be sort of a sawing action, and holding the blade like this, that I was able to cut this out fairly accurately to the lines that I had drawn around on this material. Even with very little material being on the edge, if the line came close, I had a lot of control over the cut using this method. And I'll demonstrate that. So I kind of hold the leather against my body, and even though I may be pulling and cutting in this direction, I don't have any concerns for this cutting me because my cutting action is only down at an angle toward myself. And I think if anything was to go wrong and I was to lose control here and slip, that I may just hit myself, but I don't think I'm going to have an issue with a blade going into me like this because, again, my cutting action will be down like this. So to demonstrate, and I've started this to show you that I was able to cut into this leather, and if you're straight up and vertical and now you're pulling back at an angle, that the blade will just ever so slightly just cut right along whatever line you've got, and you're able to manipulate this piece of leather as you cut. As you can see, that's right on the edge. That's a pretty fine cut, a little easier when you come in a little further. When you're done with cutting out this entire piece, and that would include even coming around to the corners and using both hands and your body. Right here you have a lot of control, you're not going far to cut all the way around. But when you're done with this piece and you've cut pretty close to your outline or right at the outline of your leather, this is where this inexpensive rasp comes into play. Get it from a hardware store, like I said, inexpensive, but laying your piece of leather up against something like this and trapping it, and if you need to smooth this edge right here, all you have to do is just keep it horizontal and just work the leather, and you can see the shavings coming right off in the smoothing action that I'm giving this. And that's how I finish the edges of the sole leather before we get any further and do other things to it that Jason demonstrates in his course. The other place that the rasp comes in really handy is this is my first boot, and you'll see that we've got the full sole leather. Then this next layer is a material I also purchased from Panhandle from Soltech, and then the Vibram sole. And as I glued the Soltech down, I would take my lip knife, trim it back at a slight outward angle, and because when I rasp in, I want to be able to get to vertical. I don't want to cut accidentally at an angle like this. I want to cut just slightly outward so that I can rasp the material down to a vertical. Unless you think you're really good, then just go vertical. Nonetheless, the same thing applies when you get the Vibram sole on. You're going to use your lip knife to cut it back, but then it's down to how you're going to finish this section off without a belt sander, and we're back to the rasp. And this has been finished using the rasp. The Soltech material cleaned up fairly well. The Vibram sole. It does have some nubs on it, but it's not bad. But overall, there's the finish edge using a rasp.